Good evening. I want to call the public hearing to order on the municipal budget for the town of Irmo for the 2021-22 fiscal year. Is there anybody here tonight to discuss, question the municipal budget? Please come to the podium. Whit, is anybody signed up? Got the sign-up sheet by any chance? Nobody wants to fuss at me about the budget? We got $7 million we're spending to run Irmo. All right, council, you did a good job. Nobody wants to, I'm happy. All right. Seeing nobody coming up, I'm going to close the public hearing. And I'm going to call the regular council meeting to order. Tonight is the May 18th, 2021 council meeting of the Irmo Town Council. And I'll start by doing the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. We all please rise with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, dear Lord, for allowing us to meet tonight, finally, with no mask on. Every member of the town council has gotten their vaccine. We are all vigorous and ready to get back to some sense of normality. I want to thank you for allowing us to get through this COVID virus, although it's not over yet, and we understand it's your will when it will be done. We appreciate you letting us come back to some kind of normalcy. We can't wait to get back out and cook out and barbecue in the park. We can't wait to go back to the orchestra. And we thank you for blessing this council, for working together to make everything work. Amen. Amen. We received the minutes for the April 20th town council meeting electronically. Are there any changes to the minutes? Do I have a motion for accepting the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Sickinger, Mr. Condon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We also received the May 4th council meeting, the May 4th workshop minutes. Are there any changes for the minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion for approval?
Make a motion.
Mr.
Daniels.
Mr. Bill,
I'll second.
you messed me up there. Eric seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Fantastic. Report is standing, administrative briefing. Mr. Brown, is there any changes to your administrative briefing for us?
No, sir. No changes.
Well, you got one, don't you? Adding the planning commission?
That wasn't a change. It's on there. Been on the agenda.
I don't see his name.
Mr. Wilkins?
Not on mine. I'm sorry, is it on yours?
It's on mine. Yes, sir.
It's on yours?
No.
It's not on hers either. Okay. So it is on there? Is it on there?
What's it? No, I didn't see it. What's his name? Wilkins?
Timothy Wilkins.
Timothy. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Got it. Okay.
Is it on?
That's him.
No
You're
problem.
on there now.
Okay. All right. Seeing that no changes from Mr. Brown, is there any changes from us from Mr. Brown? Seeing none. New in-town businesses. Mr. Sickinger, do we have any new in-town businesses?
We sure do, Mr. Mayor. This is in response to these businesses getting a license with the town. That is Lita's Treats, Big Ape Entertainment, Home Cleaning with Care, Kim's Therapy, oh boy, Sophista Curls, Hair Restoration, and Zinful Bliss.
That was tough.
throwing me some curveballs there.
Okay. Cool. Amendments to the agenda. I have an amendment to the agenda. If council will indulge me, I'd like to add item under new business, items E, and that's going to be ordinance 2105, which we have in front of us. It's been to change the wording in our planning, our zoning documents from gross to net, and we'll go into that later on, but that's the only amendment I have. It's something we found in our research. So do I have a motion for that amendment?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any question? Mrs. Condon?
We'll-
No?
Get to them.
We'll get to it. All right. All right. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your right hand. Great. It's unanimous. Thank you. All right. Consideration communication. Ms. French, are you here tonight? Did anybody call Dr. French? Okay.
Maybe we ought to wait. I don't know.
All right. It's up to you.
Should we wait? Give her a chance to get, okay, we'll wait. Dr. French? She might be dealing with some bad child in the chair.
All right. And we have a proclamation. Anybody here from the Coast Guard? Oh, fantastic. Come on
good.
down. Thank you. How you doing? Oh, okay. Is everybody here? Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, we read that?
Let me do this, I like the Coast Guard. Whereas for nearly 100 million Americans, boating continues to be a popular recreation activity, and during National Safe Boating Week, the U.S. Coast Guard and its federal, state, and local safe boating partners encourage all boaters to explore America's beautiful waters responsibly. And whereas National Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to the important life-saving tips for recreational boaters so they can have a safer, more fun experience on the water. And whereas an average of 600 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the U.S., 70% of these fatalities are caused by drowning. The vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. Whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today had they worn their life jackets. Therefore, the Irmo Town Council hereby supports the goals of Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim May 22nd through 28th National Safe Boating Week. Encourage all those who boat to practice safe boating habits, wear a life jacket at all times, given under our seal this day.
Got it? You want to say anything? Mr. Monday?
Again, we appreciate, your attention to this matter. Again, it's something that we all hopefully believe in, and the one, I guess, statistic I'd like to bring up is that, the drownings and the negative impact of unsafe boating, the sad part of it is that almost all of those fatalities had safety equipment on the boat. They happened in calm waters, they happen in good weather, so these are things that are not typically, as it said, environmental. It really is us as a human being. So we can all, with our friends and families, if you own a boat or anything like that, we ask, for your assistance, because it takes all of us make this successful. And we appreciate the proclamation of emphasizing it. But this is an ongoing, not just this week coming up of the 22nd to 20th, but all year long. And so again, we appreciate you having us here and making note of it. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
We
you.
do have a gift. We have a bag for each one of you folks. Has different things in it. Again, some safety equipment. We'd like to
Life
offer
vest
that.
here?
You can blow up the bag. Yes. And but we'll help you with the life jacket if
Okay.
if we need to. So again, we appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
for everything you do. Yes, sir.
All right. Just if you don't mind, I'm gonna.
Oh,
There you go, sir.
thank you.
Thank you.
See, now you can go shopping too, so you have no excuses to not go shopping and take a bag with you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Okay, thank you. Are there any more consideration communications? I think we have one. The week of May 16th through 22nd is National Public Works Week. And I want to recognize our Public Works guys, the guys that keep our grasses cut and the parks manicured. They work hard out there, and they worked hard during the COVID virus. They've gotten through all of that. So I'd like to just recognize their names individually, and since they're not at the meeting, I can't shake their hand, but maybe they'll watch the video and call us one by one and give us a attaboy. National Public Works, of course, Fred Geiger, Tate Horton, Mike Sumple, Troy Evans, Arnie Vader, Paul McCurry, James Maslow, and of course our Whit Klein, who leads them up. We thank y'all very much, and congratulations again on National Public Works.
They got this room ready tonight.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
Cool. Hopefully we get more people in here now that we can unmask and everybody's been vaccinated. Okay. Any other considerations that I don't have? Anybody else? Seeing none. Presentation by citizens. This is your opportunity. Anybody signed up with? This is your opportunity to come up, if you signed up or not, to discuss things with the town council. Things that you want us to know about, we're getting ready to vote on. Is there anybody to address council? Seeing none, we'll move on. Thank you. Unfinished business. Second and final reading of ordinance 2103 to annex a piece of land on Shady Grove Road into the town of Irmo. I'll make a motion for second reading. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. And discussion. I'd like to begin by explaining to the contractors, the builders, that requested this Great Southern Homes. As you know, Irmo is encouraging single-family residents to be built in the town of Irmo as much as possible. They requested to come in as residential general, which we don't think that that zoning is quite right for that area. So we'd like to bring them in under what we call CN, which is neighborhood commercial. That allows them enough density that they can build their project. I believe it's 168 single-family homes. And the problem we found is that by doing that zoning change, by bringing them in under that zoning, we would allow them to build 478 units on that 68 acre piece of property. Because of the language on page 37, which specifies that residential density is measured in gross acreage. That is not quite what they meant to do. We should have had that as net acreage. Gross acreage says you take the entire project, the full 68 acres, and that's what you use to do your calculations on how many units can go on that property. Net acreage says you take the entire 68-acre parcel, but you subtract out the roads, the topography, the wetlands, the parks, the driveways, and whatever is left over, the net, is what you actually can build on, which is a greater, lesser number than 470 some odd apartment units. What I'm going to suggest tonight, and I'm going to make this in the form of a motion, that we defer second reading of this until June 15th, and then we look at the ordinance that we've added as a special added ordinance and discuss that and put that on the agenda to pass tonight. First reading to pass tonight.
Second.
Is okay. That's the motion I'd like to make, but Mr. Signature, do you have any other comment?
No, is there reason to move it so that we're not making that change and then immediately after that making the change if we were to make the change from gross to net? Is that effectively why we're moving it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And is there any questions I want to answer? Because I know it's kind of confusing what we're talking about, but again, we want to make sure that we control the growth and density in that area. And we know that if we allow them to put 472 units the way it's written right now, because if you're using the gross area for determining the number of units they can use, as opposed to the net area, then that's a problem that we've had in our zoning ordinance. We have to fix that first. Mrs.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I noticed when you were pointing that out to me, everything else in that book appears to be net acreage.
Correct.
Net. So I'm just curious, was the language originally gross, or could that have possibly been a mistype?
Could have been a typo.
I don't know. I'm just curious. I know we got to change it either way. I'm just wondering how that particular one gross got in there versus all those nets.
Remember when we had the old council was in that argument about the apartments? I believe that's what they used as the factor, was gross acreage, to determine how many units they can put up on there. They didn't subtract out the topography or the roads and all that stuff. They went to that pure number. But that was a mistake. Everywhere else, like you said, it's net, except for that one spot, which is what they are using to determine their request. I don't think the builder has a problem with letting us make that change and then annexing the land in. And we can do that tonight. And once we do it tonight, the pending ordinance doctrine kicks in, so we don't have to worry about anybody else coming in. Mr. Kelly?
I have nothing to say.
Nothing? Ms. Moore?
I'm okay.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Well, then let's vote on the amendment first.
Okay.
No, well,
You didn't propose an amendment.
well,
No, we're going to defer.
yeah, I guess we can. We don't have to worry about changing, because he still has it as RG, so we have to change that too. So you want to wait and do all that?
Well, the amendment's on the floor, or
The deferment's on the floor right now. So, okay, let's vote on the deferment.
if we defer it, then we can't do
I
anything
know.
about it until.
All right,
So you set us up there, right.
so we'll vote on the deferment. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condom,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yay.
Mayor Walker.
Yay. Okay, great. And you guys understand what's going on, right? All right, great. All right, new business. First reading of ordinance 2104, adopting our operating budget of $7,250,491 for fiscal year 21-22. Is there a motion for adoption?
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Ms. Condon?
This was the best we could do and maintain normal operating expenses. Considering inflation, it's not bad, but it's expensive to run the town, and we need to know that. One day, one of y'all need to sit with me when I sign checks. You'd be amazed at what we have to pay. The light bill was $8,000 today. But that was all the lights for the town. But $8,000 a month, these are a lot of money. Well, they are. Anyway, that's a good figure for operating expenses without any extra.
Mr. Tesla over here.
The water bill was $4.
All right, Mr. Bush?
I think we've vetted this thing out over the last several months, so I'm in favor.
Okay, Mr. Danielson?
I believe it's a go at this point. Nothing else to add.
Okay,
We've worked it every which way we can. So I'm just worried about inflation catching up over the next 12 months. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yeah, if you entertain me for a second. If you look at some of the numbers here, public safety being nearly 50%, I think that represents this council and administration's support of the police. And then if you read the long form, you'll know, and I just like to point this out because I think it's both bad and good, but there's no millage. I think Irmo is one of like 3 towns in South Carolina that does not have a millage. So we're operating without that. And I think that's important to, 4 towns? Okay. I think it's important to point out, right, that's a source of revenue that we just aren't touching. And then the last thing, and I found this out not that long ago, that every single expenditure that the town has is on a transparency website, and I try to put that out there. But it's really cool that you, as a resident or as a citizen, you can just go online and see literally every single line item, every check that goes out from the town. And if you're interested in that, I encourage you to do it. Otherwise, yes, in favor.
I think it's the Department of Revenue website.
Yeah. Can you go back to that screen? Thank you. Mr. Sickinger, since you got the
Yes, Mr.
Tesla in the family, what can we do about this electric bill being $8,000? Can't we put some solar panels up or plug into your car or something like that maybe? Or run the...
We could shorten these meetings up a little bit.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, certainly an investment in solar panels is not necessarily a bad idea, but that's not my area of expertise,
All
Mr.
right,
Mayor.
great. Will the clerk read the roll?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condom,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yay?
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Thank you. Approval of intergovernmental agreement between the town of Irmo, Lexington County, and Richland County for land development services. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved?
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Great. Mrs. Sickinger, this is necessary language we need, but go ahead and
This,
any comments.
and you know, off the top, repurposing the tennis center. By the way, we have to change that sign then too, which is at Royal Tower and I don't know where, but it points and says tennis center. So we'll want to change that eventually for dog park and or community gardens.
Excuse me, this is the agreement for the roads.
Well, this was a joint use agreement.
There's two of
No,
them.
no, no.
Oh, there's
Next
2
one.
intergovernmental
Next one, yeah.
agreements. My sincerest apologies to the floor.
You're jumping ahead there.
What happens when you
millennial.
bloviate?
I'm in a sort of mood tonight. I yield the floor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bush,
Now, a lot of work has gone into this, and it's taken a good period of time to get this underway, so I'm in favor of it. I read through it. It looks acceptable.
Great. Mr. Danielson?
I also read through it, and it looks like we come in third in a three-legged race. So I don't know any other way to fix it, so we might as well sign it.
All right, Ms. Condon?
I'm for it.
Okay. And will the clerk read the roll, please?
Yay.
Yay?
Yay.
Yay.
Yes. All right. Mr. Sickens, no. Approval for intergovernmental agreement between the town of Irmo and Richland County Recreation Commission to lease the property on Friarsgate Boulevard, which is known as Rawls Creek Tennis Center, or formerly known as Rawls Creek Tennis Center, for the period of 20 years, from 10 to 20 years. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
And Mr. Sickinger and Mr. Bush. Mr. Sickinger.
I think I already said my part. It's a win. It's a win for the
I didn't hear
town.
it. Say it again now. I want to make sure. Mr. Bush.
I concur.
All right. Mr. Danielson.
Let's get it done.
All right.
Wasting time and money.
Right. Ms. Condon.
I'm with them.
All right. Well, we're going too fast here. It's not even 30 minutes, man. We got to, well, wait a minute. I might get a beer out of this because he bet me. Clerk, read the roll, please.
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Ms. Condom?
Yay?
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Appointments to the Planning Commission. We have several applicants on the Planning Commission, and we also have one that were asked to go from the ZBA to the Planning Commission because he's bored with the ZBA. And I think that's the excuse he gave us. His name is Tim Wilkins. If it's not on your agenda. You haven't seen him? Tim? See him back there? It's that guy with the bald head back there.
That's the style. That's what you're supposed to do.
Really?
Okay, I make a motion, we nominate him.
Tim Wilkins.
Mr.
Okay.
Wilkins.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor, will the clerk read the roll?
Yay.
Yay?
Yay.
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations, Mr. Wilkins. You are now on the Planning Commission, which means that we have to put on our next agenda somebody to replace you on the ZBA. So now go find somebody to take your place on the ZBA. Okay. Well, thank you very much for volunteering to work on those committees. It's very important that we have people that are eager to work on those committees, and we really appreciate that. And last bit of business, the ordinance that we added, the agenda special 2105. Is there a motion for this ordinance? And this is to change the wording.
So moved.
Mr. Sickinger?
Second.
And Mr. Bush. Mr. Bush. Mr. Sickinger
I'm in favor.
and Mr. Bush?
Such a little word in such a large book has caused so much confusion. I'm in favor of correcting the verbiage.
All right, so Mr. Danielson?
I just want to publicly acknowledge your effort on this, and it was good work by you catching this. This is you, and
Well.
I'm still not sure that it wasn't meant to be net, but we're in the right spot. So anything we can do to change some previous council decisions, I'm all for.
Okay. Ms. Condon?
I'm for it, and I think I told you earlier, the reason was last week the Supreme Court threw out something because of one word. Instead of it was some or whatever. And I think this one word's important.
It is important, and again, that was a disconnect in this whole zoning change. I mean, Mr. Bush and I talked about it, and we didn't like having people build homes in commercial areas. It doesn't make sense. But at the same time, we want to annex land in the town limits. That's our job as a council, is to inquire many people in much real estate as we can. If we made a mistake, if we left out the word that's wrong, we picked it up, we fixed it. We're gonna fix it. Let's get it done. Let's get these people zoned correctly and bring them into town. And let's continue to make our town grow. And I really appreciate y'all supporting me on this. And I appreciate the council for working together. And I appreciate Bob for putting this ordinance together at the last minute. Thank you, Bob. No other comments? Will the clerk read the roll?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Ms. Condom,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yay.
Mayor Walker.
Yes. I'd like to, before we go on the presentation by citizens, I would like to call a special meeting next week, just to get the second reading of this. Or do we need to do that, or wait until June? Do that first and then do their thing second? It needs to, I know, does it need to be done 7 days apart, or no? So can we?
I don't see a rush. I mean, as long as
Okay.
you do that before you
Before we get the second reading? Oh, all right, so June 15th, we can put this first, second reading of this first.
Okay.
If it passes, then we can do the second reading of their annexation. Okay, let's do that then. Let's not do a special meeting. Thank y'all. Presentation by citizens. This is your opportunity to come before council and let us know anything you want us to know about anything. Hopefully positive stuff. We don't want to hear any negative stuff. It is 7:30, and so far, Mr. Bush owes me a beer. So,
Okay, well, there goes the beer. I want to thank everybody. Food Truck Friday on the 28th. Any police officers on duty want to come by and get them a free hot dog or Italian ice, you're welcome to do so. Something I wanted to bring up tonight, something I wrote out here. I want to thank council and all first responders for the service to the town. In recent times, there has been a lot of bad publicity on law enforcement. Thankfully, we have a police force everyone can be proud of. It seems here lately there are reports of a loss of new recruiting, as well as many just dropping out of the law enforcement career altogether. The mayor and council have given the officers bonus and raises, which they well deserve. Thank you for that, and thank you, IPD. I have an idea that I hope you will consider. The reason why I'm presenting this is because of a couple of reasons. The first reason, I know of other towns who are already short of personnel in law enforcement and are looking at different ideas to bring law enforcement, mostly experience, to their town. In other words, they're trying to come after yours because they're close by. We need to be a leader in compensation to retain and recruit. And the second reason, we have a police force that deserves whatever benefit we can give them. They do a great job. And I, as well as others in the community I've talked to, are proud of them. And they probably don't hear that enough. And here's the idea. If an officer works 3 months and doesn't miss a day, he or she will get a day off the next quarter. The details can be worked out between the chief and council. This gives them 4 more days a year. This sounds like a lot, and it should. No other town is doing this. It's really a win-win for all. This would be a great benefit that would not only help retain officers, but recruit and boost morale. The best part of this benefit will have the least financial burden, if any, on the town. When you think about it, the cost of retaining new people, it actually saves the town money. When the officer lays out, it puts a burden on others to fill in. This could lead to overtime pay. Even worse, the shift could be down one person entirely. And I just hope you really consider and think about that. And it's something of the least amount of financial burden on the town. And I'm telling you, other towns, I know West Columbia's 9 people short right now, and they putting their heads together. I mean, I don't know, but that'd be one idea that nobody else is doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deloche. Anybody else? Mr. Chief, you got that? Okay. You can work it out for us. Thank you. Anybody else to address council on anything that you want to let us know about? Nobody?
He's really trying to get that beer.
All right. There's no other presentation by citizens. Is there any discussion? No discussions. There's no executive session. And do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there a second? All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, meeting is over. That's a Bud Light Lime, please.
Six-pack for you.
We get home